We are good. Yep. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 36 of the Game Junction Podcast. We are going to be talking about this week's article from TimelessGamer.net. TimelessGamer.net exists to inform and enlighten video game enthusiasts of all kinds. One of our favorite articles from this week is Sony revealing 20 minutes of Final Fantasy XVI. You can check out more on this article on their website, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Yes, so welcome back, everyone. We have another episode, and we have a very special guest tonight. And we have so much to talk about, so I can't wait to jump into it. So we'll just go ahead and get started. How's everyone doing today?
Doing good.
Doing great.
Everyone's great. So we'll just go ahead and jump into our special guest. If you'd like to just go ahead and introduce you, let's learn a little bit about you and what you do in the, video gaming and pop culture community.
So my name is Kai Parker. I go by Captain Dangerous on Instagram. I am a product photographer / miniature artist. It's a little bit of both. I work for Critical Role, Good Smile Company, Nintendo. Just name it. I kind of have done everything. And it's been a fantastic ride. But yeah, that's me.
Yes, and for anyone watching, we will go ahead and put all of her links in the description below. That way you guys can check out, some of her work and everything, because it's awesome. It's really cool to see, and it's like a whole different world than, what I've ever seen before, and it looks great. So we'll go ahead and put all that in the description. So make sure you guys, stay tuned for all that, and check out all of that.
Yep.
So pretty much we'll just kind of jump into it. What actually got you into photography?
So crazy thing, when I was a kid, I actually was super into miniatures, but I didn't really translate that to photography until I was older.
Mm-hmm.
I always loved building. So I had I don't know if you guys remember, obviously Lego and stuff, but I don't know if you guys remember Playmobiles.
Yes.
Yes. So I had the Playmobil sets, and I used to build little towns and stuff in my room across my house. And I didn't have a camera to take photos of them, but I would build them and do little sets and stuff. But it wasn't until I got older that I realized I could combine my love of art and photography with miniature things. Which is kind of what I did. And it just kind of made sense. It started with a hobby of just me documenting and doing cool little things with my figures and things that I collected. And then it really turned into a career that I didn't expect, but fully embraced and I love. But yeah, it was really something I didn't expect. It was really started just as a hobby. It was just something fun that I got very into, really loved, and was very passionate about. It was something that I connected with, if that makes sense.
That's awesome.
That's always something great too. When you don't really expect to, have something turn out into something that you're actually doing for a career, and it's something that you love, you're passionate about. It sounds like you're living pretty much everyone's dream, when they find something that they just enjoy, like a hobby, and then they're able to, kind of change on that. And just seeing the pictures and everything, the stuff is so calming, but in a way at the same time, you could tell the amount of work that it takes to put into that, and it's kind of you appreciate those little calming things. So it's crazy to see. So everyone needs to check it all out.
Exactly. And what I always tried to do is to capture either a moment from childhood or just a moment just in general, something calming, something that you see and you're brings me peace. That's all that I wanted to do, because you guys know the internet is rampant with just negativity, all kinds of stuff. And I wanted to bring something peaceful to people. and just like, Link chilling and having a picnic, or, a Kirby chilling and eating ramen, like something like that. I wanted that piece to be like, okay, here's all the negativity that you guys are dealing with in your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter feeds. Here's peaceful Kirby.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
the
because
the Kirby stuff is just
Kirby's
amazing.
my favorite.
It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And that's what I wanted, like, people to have that sense of calm.
Yeah.
I wanted them to be able to just have this break from just negativity, and then just see, here's Kirby hanging out in some cherry blossoms, or, here's Kirby eating some ramen or having some boba tea, like, just him chilling. And I think everyone in the world needs to have that little bit of peace. And that was my whole thing with doing what I did with my toy stuff and everything, was I wanted to them have that break from the negativity, from just the darkness of the world, to have just these little bits of light, little bit of, Link napping, or, like I said, Kirby chilling, doing his thing, or Isabelle from Animal Crossing, like sipping some coffee. It's like, I wanted them to have that little slice of life.
Yes.
I love that.
I think that's what we need more in the world too. There's all this negativity. We all have, like these hardships. There's just so much all the time out there. And it's kind of like why we all do our own different types of, like, social media content
Exactly.
creation, like the pictures and stuff on Instagram, then the videos. I mean, it's why everyone does all this, because this is our escape. This is our hobby that we remember from back in the day, from our childhood, that nostalgia. There's like
100%.
simpler times. And I think that's, kind of what all drives us, with that, is like this passion and that like separation from everything. And I've kind of getting that, from what you're saying too. And I'm like, that's why we're all here.
Exactly. You're nailing it. That's exactly it. It's just that, it's that difference from, again, like, you're dealing with all like the dark news, all the different things that are coming down the pipeline. And then you see like a calm Kirby or a calm whatever. And it's just like, oh, I really needed this in my feed. Like, I needed something refreshing. I needed something positive. And that's kind of what I've tried to do with what I do in my art, is I want everyone to just, of course, like, the world isn't 100%, people deal with all kinds of stuff. But just like having that little bit, just that little happy moment, it's just like a scroll by and you're like, oh, I really needed that. That's what I work for. That's what I do. I want everyone to be able to see something happy like that, and just to have that moment of calm, that moment of, yeah, I needed to see Kirby chilling in a hot tub with boba tea. Like,
I love like the miniature accessories. There's something so just captivating about seeing like a little bowl of ramen and like knowing that's a tiny little piece
it's so small.
And I can't even imagine, like, we talked prior about the 3D printing and some of the stuff behind that, and I can't imagine like the painting of things, or like
it's a process.
Yeah, that's
it's
the
worth
part
it.
that I'm
Absolutely worth it.
It definitely is something really awesome. I love it.
Yeah, no, I have so much fun with it. It's truly testing, especially me doing like 3D print and building stuff from scratch. Learning how to kind of, use the material I have on hand and everything else to kind of like, make the miniature scene or whatever. It is a lot, but it is absolutely worth it.
Oh, definitely.
And for anyone watching, it's not just to take pictures and everything. There's been big things that have happened. So another one of our questions is, how did you get involved with Nintendo and other companies as an affiliate? So obviously, like, this has blossomed into something insane, because it's not just, like, pictures per se, just on like social media. This has like branched out. So someone, liked what you were doing, and a lot of people actually. So how'd you get involved with all of that?
So crazy with Nintendo.
Mhm.
I was doing like some amiibo photos, and they actually, one of their brand reps actually saw me doing the amiibo stuff, and they were like, "You need her to do this." They were like, "No, she's the one." I had no idea of this until years later when I actually met with him, and he said, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Yeah, I was the one that sought you out," and I was like,
That's
incredible.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
So he sought me out, and I've been working with Nintendo for several years now. I do a lot of like their creative stuff, some of their little video stuff, like everything in between. But they originally hired me because they saw my amiibo work, and they're like, if anyone can build sets and make them look as good as like Nintendo Japan, she's your girl. And I was like,
yeah, that's
I didn't say this.
Mind blowing.
The guy who sought me out told me this in person years later when I met him at E3.
Nice.
And he told me that, and I was like, "You what?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I said this," and I was like, "Are you crazy?" Like, I was so flattered, but at the same time, I was like, "Really? That's why?" He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, when they asked me, "Hey, find someone to do like dope amiibo work," and he's like, "Oh, I already have someone in mind." He's like, "You were already in mind," and I was like,
that's incredible. Just even mentioning E3, I can imagine you have some pretty awesome stories. I imagine you could talk for days on the stories and
for
experiences with all this stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, back in the day when we used to have those
back in the day.
Those big events where people actually went,
When E3 was a thing.
Back in my day. Yeah, no, sadly E3 is
gone. Yeah.
It's gone. It had its heyday. I am very thankful and blessed that I got to actually go in its heyday. But yeah, so I've kind of seen that the other companies, Nintendo, PlayStation, Microsoft, are kind of doing their own mini E3s.
Yeah.
But just based around their company and their brand. Which I knew was coming. But it works for them, so.
Yeah, I mean, the Nintendo Directs, they get so much hype. So, when I worked with Nintendo Enthusiasts, I got invited to be able to go out to E3. I couldn't make it then. I was in school. There's just too much going on, so I was, like, doing this on the side. But one of my goals getting back into, just content and all this different stuff that we do was being able to go out to E3. I wanted that to be, like, a goal several years out, and it's a huge bummer because it's just like it's a huge thing for us. Like E3 was a giant event every year. We just absolutely loved E3. Like it was just a big thing. Like, oh my God, we're going to get all of our cool announcements for the whole year. Like,
yes,
it's just like a huge deal.
Exactly.
Back in the day.
And sadly, it's just it's outdated now because of technology but I will give you this little tidbit that is very near and dear to my heart. So back when I was still living at home, I remember watching E3 on my parents' crappy tube computer. I mean, this thing was abysmal. Like it was awful. Virus ridden, it was bad. But I remember always sitting and watching E3 with my little brother. And this was, 10, 12 years ago. And I remember telling my brother, I said, one day I'm going to go to E3. And I remember my first E3, which was Breath of the Wild.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
And I texted my brother. I said, I finally went. I said, I finally did it. I said, do you remember when I told you years ago that I was going to go to E3? And he goes, yeah, sis, you did it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was just like a complete like full circle. Like I remember watching like Twilight Princess revealed
Oh yeah,
on
I
that
remember that.
crappy tube computer. And I was like, I'm gonna go to E3 one day, dude. Like I told my brother, I was like, I'm gonna go. And 10 years later I go and I text him, I was like, I did it. I went. Like it was just so crazy to me.
What an awesome experience! Just being able to do that. That's absolutely
It
incredible.
was absolutely just like it was just one of those things where it was just like just fully like I've come full circle. Like in the gaming world, like I got to be able to experience that. And the fact that I told my brother that 10 years prior and then telling him I made it, bro. And he was like, "You're there at E3 just like you said you would be 10 years before." And I was just like,
yeah,
my
that's
heart
wonderful.
It was super cool.
Yeah, that's
And speaking of that, we have Mysticles in the chat saying, "Wow, amazing, touching E3 story." And then we have Carl saying, "I will miss all the amazing announcements, but sadly they haven't had them for some years now." And then,
Very fair. Very true. Very true.
And
Yeah.
then we have quite a few other people I just want to go ahead and hit. So we had Matt Bryce earlier saying, "Good evening, everyone." We have Stephanie in the chat. Mysticles, Millennial Collector Ohio talking about happy Saturday, all you kings and queens. And then they said it's Sunday, right? So they're going back and forth.
I feel.
We have Carl, Mysticles again, Stephanie. Okay, so we have everyone just chatting in.
Cool. I love it.
awesome.
And then I guess as we kind of like jump through here, I know we started to touch on to some of like the gaming memories, but what are your first like actual video game like gaming memories?
Ooh, good question. So, first game I would say like really resonated with me. So I played A Link to the Past. Way like I did not have the current gaming consoles growing up. I got them like 10 years later. But I remember playing Link to the Past, absolutely loving it. And then I remember seeing my friends who had an N64 playing Ocarina of Time. And I was like, ooh, that's awesome. I was like, he has super cool blonde hair. He can ride a horse. I was like, I'm obsessed.
Where'd the horse come in? I missed something.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. So I think my first like really core game memory was probably playing Ocarina of Time, where it like really set in, where I was like, I want to play more of this. Like, this is so cool. Like, he has a horse. He does these dungeon stuff. I don't know who he is, but I'm obsessed with him and I want to watch more. Like, this is so cool. The games that I played the most were A Link to the Past and Super Mario World.
Okay.
I think I beat
ones.
Super Mario World more than probably any other game.
I mean, for me, yeah, it would have been like probably Super Mario Bros. 3. So yeah, I can relate.
Oh yeah, like I remember like my husband and I like pulled it up the other day because he's like, "Do you want to play a game?" And I was like, "I want to play a comfort game." And he's like, "What is a comfort game?" And I'm like, "Super Mario World." So like I pulled it up and I was like, how do you know like all the, because I knew like all of the secrets, all of like the extra little bits. I knew like everything. He's like, "How do you know all this?" I was like, because this was the only game I had on the SNES when I grew up. That and Donkey Kong Country 3. That was it. That was all I played.
Those are games that you can just like mindlessly play. Like you beat the game a ton of times, and you can just jump in, relax. Like I can relate with that. Yeah, Super Mario World would have been one. Donkey Kong Country 2 or 3, probably one of those for me too. I didn't get Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo. I think I've talked about this before, but I got it on Game Boy Color and then played the other ones on Super Nintendo.
No, see, I only had I only had DK Country 3 on but I borrowed 1 and 2. So DK Country 2 is my favorite to play. Because the roller coasters, just saying, they slap. I love them. But no, straight up, like the like minecart stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Love it so much. But I did all of the special stuff in DK3 to get the barrel like rocket.
Yeah.
To get I did like everything to get that. And so DK3 is like what I know the best, but DK2 is my favorite to play just because of all of the roller coasters.
Okay.
I'm a sucker for them.
I've given the hot take of saying that because of playing that one probably the most as a kid. I think it was 3. I'm very partial to that out of all 3 of those games. A lot of people don't like 3, but I'm a Dixie fan for life. So
Dixie Kong for life, bro. Feel.
Love it.
We also have Millennial Collector Ohio saying Super Mario World was the only SNES game we had the first couple months, LOL. Played through twice before we had a second game.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It was
my homies.
I bet that was the case for a lot of people. I bet a lot of people only had Super Mario
World.
For
for sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it was back in the day, though.
Yeah,
like we didn't have like full collections. Like, never would I have imagined when I had a couple games for like the N64. I never thought that I'd have like 7,500 physical games. Never.
Right?
Like who does that? Like,
right, exactly.
We never thought we'd have, all those shelves that you have just full of games. Like, we never would have thought that. Cause we barely, like, had the 1 or 2 games.
We're just encompassing our childhood now.
Yes.
In our, like, late 20s, 30s.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it was probably a constant rotation of, like, 4 games. You know what I mean? For the consoles, it was probably like, we're going to trade this in to get another game. So we had, like, maybe 4 or 5 games at once to play,
Oh yeah,
how
exactly.
It always was.
Yeah, and then you make a friend, and then you go over their house, and they have a couple games, and you're like, "What? You have
exactly
another game than me?"
When I went to my friends, they had like Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. I didn't have that, and then they had the original Kingdom Hearts for PlayStation 2, and I was like,
"Yeah, I never got to play Kingdom Hearts. I didn't." So I played 2, like, I was really late on Kingdom Hearts. It was, like, much later. So I didn't play it for, like, probably, like, 5-6 years. It was big when it dropped. 1 and 2 were huge. And, I just never got to play them for a long time. But
I only played them via my friend, and I enjoyed them. Like, I thought they were great, but it was just so funny, because it was, like, he had Mortal Kombat 1 and 2... Kingdom Hearts, and the other Donkey Kong countries. So it was like the perfect trifecta. Because it was like he had all the games I didn't have. So awesome. I have DK3, you have 1 and 2, and you have Mortal Kombat 2. I have the first Mortal Kombat. So it was just like,
let's swap games for a week.
Exactly. I was like, let's just be buddies, please.
Yeah, we're best friends now.
Yeah, we're best friends now, and you can't back out of it because I want your games.
Yes.
So, kind of going along with, more game discussion, what are games that you, enjoy playing now that you find yourself going to? Do you have, certain genres, systems?
I'm definitely a little bit old school. I constantly go back to, my comfort games are, Super Mario World, as I was stating earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and, any of the old, Minish Cap, any of the older Zelda games are always, a go-to for me. But also, I really love, any of, the older, sprite type games.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're like 16-bit, 18-bit, that type feel.
Yeah.
Another game that I love, quite say it's comfort game, but Blasphemous is another one. It's that same
That's a fun game.
It's tough as heck. Like Castlevania, like that's kind of my go-to for comfort. Is I love like those old sprite games. So yeah, that would probably be. I definitely would say probably like Mario, like Super Mario World, and like the older Zeldas would probably be my go-to.
The classics.
Oh yeah, I think we can relate with that. We've got a few comments in here. Carl's saying Brandy speaking the truth. I don't know about that, but just kidding.
Thanks, Carl.
I'm kidding. He also said, that's it. We had Sega Master System, and other friends had Mega Drive, NES, or Amiga. No one had all of the systems or all the games. That is the truth.
True.
Exactly. Yes.
If you were the rich kid in the neighborhood or, at the school, maybe there was always like one or two of those, right? That got games all the time. But that was few and far between. And Mystically says, Super Mario World is my comfort blanket. That's a great way to, I love that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like that a lot. It's definitely
love
it is a very comforting game, especially when you grew up with it, played it as much as we did. It really is.
Like it's so good. Like it's so happy. I love it.
I mean, a lot of people would say that's the best Mario. A lot of people do. It's always in, a top 5 list.
It's my favorite. Personally, my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely like a 10 out of 10 game. That is a flawless, perfect game. No doubt about that. So what systems are you playing the most? I know you said obviously like with the Super Nintendo, but do you find yourself today playing more stuff? Like, are you playing on the Switch? Are you playing on physical hardware?
Honestly, probably the Switch the most. I do play a lot of like Xbox and PlayStation, but I think the Switch is probably what I've been playing the most, simply because I'm playing a lot of like Nintendo dropped a lot of like Game Boy Advance stuff. So it's like that's why I've been playing the Switch a ton, because I'm like Minish Cap dropped, Metroid, was it Super Metroid or whatever dropped. I'm like,
Metroid Fusion.
I need to play. Yeah. So I've probably been playing that the most. I play a lot of like Xbox wise, like I'm not a complete. Listen, I have sold my soul and heart to Nintendo. You guys know. It's all good. But I truly play, like, I play Overwatch. I play a lot of stuff on Xbox. I played, like, Sea of Thieves. Played, like, a lot of their exclusives. Especially, like, Destiny, Halo, like, all that stuff I played. But I haven't touched it as much because Nintendo Switch has dropped Metroid and everything else their stuff. So I'm like, yeah, Xbox, you can chill. I'm gonna play the old classics because I am old like that.
They're definitely. I shouldn't be surprised that they dropped the Game Boy. I thought that like they were going to kind of pass over that maybe and.
It's a little shocked myself.
Yeah, I'm glad that they did, because it would have been like rumored forever. And
so I will tell you this, and again, disclaimer: I have no prior knowledge to any of this, but I am telling you, working for Nintendo for the past 6 years, what I think they're gonna do, because they dropped the Game Boy Advance shit, right? I think what they're going to do is that they are going to tease the GameCube. So that means Wind Waker, the original Animal Crossing, the original Smash Melee, like all that stuff. And then they're going to also drop Twilight Princess. Because they've been going in order. So they have done, obviously, like the other game system, and they dropped Game Boy Advance. The next one in the line is GameCube. It's happening, my dudes. Because I want it to happen, because I am so tired of having to pull my Wii U out to play Twilight Princess and getting frustrated because it doesn't connect properly, and then I'm just screaming into the void because it's not connecting properly. So I truly think that is next on their docket to do.
I would think so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so speaking of dropping like GameCube, do you think that like that's the move for them with it's inevitable that like a console is just right around the corner, right? Like there's no doubt about that. It's got we're almost it's the 4th month this year. I would think that would be happening next year. There's been like, stuff said about potentially this, holiday season. I don't think so. I'm thinking next year myself, but what do you think on that?
Personally, if they dropped it at the end of this year, it would be for a like boost in profits. So they're very much about money.
Oh yeah.
As
definitely.
You guys know. Yeah.
Love
fully.
Nintendo, but yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, welcome to Nintendo. Again, like I have no shame saying this because it's true. I think if anything, I think they would drop it. If they did drop at the end of this year, it would be like, hey, teaser, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess are coming to Virtual Console next year. I fully see them doing that. If they don't do it earlier. But I think they would do it at the end of the year. Because it would boost holiday sales.
Right.
I worked on their marketing team for a while, so I know.
They're all about those holiday sales. I mean, can you blame them though, right? Like
no, they're smart.
Yeah.
They're absolutely doing they're doing exactly like what makes sense. As much as it pisses us fans off, because we're just like, just give us Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, please. They're like, no, just wait, we want to make some money off of it, and I'm like,
so
dying.
Since you're talking about that, it's also like been discussed, obviously, and I feel like it would make sense. We got Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD on the Wii U. Do you think that, we could potentially get those packaged together or release kind of like, Metroid Prime Remastered or along the lines of Skyward Sword, like something like that instead of dropping it on like a service?
Right. So this is what I'm not sure about, because what they did with Skyward Sword, I didn't really expect. Because I was expecting them to do kind of what they did with Minish Cap whenever, where it's like, hey, Virtual Console, like, doop. So for this, I'm not sure. Because I feel like if they did drop Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, knowing them, they would do a dual package if it was something you got physically. They would do that.
Yeah.
They would not be separate. They would do them together. But personally, like, my hope is that they would drop them like digitally and just like, hey, this is down for download. This is down for download. And even if it's like costs a little bit more because you're paying for a like higher tier game, fine. But I truly think like they're gonna do exactly what they did with Skyward Sword, where it's gonna be a dual package type thing, where it's like you have Twilight Princess and you have Wind Waker, and they're a dual whatever. That's I guarantee that's what they're gonna do, because after seeing what they did with Skyward Sword, that's probably what they're gonna do. As much as I hate it, because I would love them to just be like, hey, both of these are available for digital download. They're not gonna do that. Sadly.
It's pretty hard. Sometimes it seems like they're like predictable, and then other times they like come out with like a just something that blows your mind. I'm like, that came out of nowhere. Like, it just I didn't see them dropping Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance all in the same day. I definitely didn't see that happen.
And that's how they work. Like, they will constantly do just, like, random, like, oh, here's all of this. Like, it's insane. And there has been a little bit, I will touch on this just briefly. There's been speculation with Breath of the Wild that the character in it is actually Demise and not Ganondorf. So Demise is from Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
Skyward Sword, they re-released, which makes sense.
Yeah. No, it
So
does. I've seen that theory.
Oh, you've seen it? Yeah. Okay. So it's like there's like a whole like like back and forth thing with that. They're like, oh, this isn't actually Ganondorf, it's this. And because it's from this character from Skyward Sword, it's like and that's why everyone's speculating that Skyward Sword actually was re-released was because of that.
Yeah.
Which is super interesting, but
yeah, no, it definitely is. There's like, there's a lot of theories behind this stuff with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, when they showed that teaser trailer, like the very first one where you got like, I don't know what, maybe it was like 30 seconds. It was a title and showing, oh God, what was it? It showed, like maybe in a cave or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was a very small teaser trailer. People were like hyper analyzing that trailer. And we got like all these
and they always
theories.
do.
Yeah. Always.
Which, hilariously, my boss voices Ganondorf, which I am so proud to say.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
I laughed so hard. I was like, we all knew it was him. I even messaged my contact. I was like, is this Matt Mercer? And she's like, I can't say. I was like... And then when he announced it, I was like, I knew it! I knew it was him! It's like, finally, I can actually say it's him. It was driving me crazy. I was like, I know it's him.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I saw his announcement post about that, and I was like, oh, that's
I know, it was like,
awesome.
Finally, he can say, because I was like, everyone knew it was him. And I was like, please just say it. Just get it out in the open, because we're all of us fans are dying inside. We need you to just say it.
I love it. So, yeah, I mean, kind of continuing on, is there anything, I don't know if you're more digital, physical, is there anything like you're collecting in the gaming realm? Or, I mean, really anything else, kind of in the pop culture, toys? Like, what are you kind of focused on collecting? Do you have any, like, kind of collecting goals or just things you're after?
Collecting? So, there is a brand of Japanese miniatures called Remint.
Yes, I've heard of those.
I am a goblin for Remint. Any Remint miniatures, doesn't matter the brand, doesn't matter what it's a part of, I will love them. They're tiny little, like some of them are like little like Japanese foods. Some of them are like character based, like, like Kirby, where it's like, okay, Kirby Remint, like Kirby Cafe Remint, and they're like a bunch of little tiny. That's what I've been collecting constantly. I cannot stop myself. I have a whole tub in my basement dedicated to Remint, and it is abysmal. It's bad. Like, literally, like my friends go down, they're like, oh, what's that tub in your basement? I was like, oh, that's all Remint. It's all miniatures. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, judge me. It's fine.
Well, at least they are like miniature and they don't take up a whole lot of space, right?
Right. Like, I store them like in a bin of like all my little like miniature, like I have, so it's funny. So like my friends will come over and they're like, so I want to have this setting. And I'm like, uh-huh. Do you want fall, spring, winter, or whatever? And they're like, I want this setting. I was like, okay, I have trees for that. And they're like, well, I want these miniatures. I was like, what size do you want? Like it's so segmented. Like they literally, I'm like, just tell me. Like, what do you need? I have it all. Like I can completely dish it out. I love it though, because like when my friends come over and they're like wanting to like build a set or whatever, and they're like, "Do you have this?" I'm like, "Plenty. What color do you want?"
I was just looking up some of the stuff that they have right now that they're advertising, and I'm obsessed with these. You might
Yes,
get me
I am.
captivated to want to buy
Oh,
these
I
because
know.
that's
Oh, okay. It
that's
is a
too
dark
cool.
road to go down, my dude. You will be obsessed. I have many of those capsules. One of my
I really
friends.
like terrarium type things. I think
Yeah.
they're
Me
so
too.
so cool.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. I'm obsessed with them. It's bad. That's why I said it was like I have like so many that I've collected and like kept, just like in like my own personal collection of things. But that's why I was joking when like people come over and they're like, "Hey, I'm wanting to do this certain photo," and I'm like, "What do you need? Color? What season do you need?" I have it all. I love it though. I love being able to do that for my friends though. It's so cool.
That works really well for what you do too. I mean, stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's really
A
cool.
variety.
I like that. Yeah, I can imagine just having like, little bins. Like I've got stuff this color and little categorized, containers. Like here's all
Fall,
my
summer,
sushi
spring.
and here's all
Yeah.
my yellow items and that'd be cool.
Here's all my fall stuff. Here's all of my spring and winter. Like, what season do you want? Like, I can do it for you.
I don't know. It would be so cool to be able to say like, hey, the thing that I collect, like I could store it all right here in the corner. It's so small.
Yeah.
I've got 6,000 items. And you're like, what? They must have like a whole house full of stuff. You come over. Oh no, it's right here. It's all right here. It's just
No,
a
more
little
or
box.
less. Yeah. That's I literally have like I'll ask my friends. I was like, "What season do you want?" And they're like, "I'm like, no, really. What season? Do you want fall, spring, summer, winter? What do you want?" They're like, "I never been asked this before." But I'm like, "No, really. It's like I have it all. Like, what setting do you want your figure in?" And they're like, "What?"
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I
I
love
love being able to do that though. I love being able to like give them that option of just like, hey, like I have been doing this for 10 plus years.
Mhm.
I have accumulated many miniatures, sets, seasonal items, whatever. So I love when people come over and they're like, yeah, I want to do like a photo in this. And I'm like, yeah, what season? And they look at me like,
You have
what?
like 5 heads. Like, what?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, what season? Do you want fall, winter, spring? And they're like, excuse me? I'm like, no, really. I can whatever you want. I can do it. Do you want street setting? Like, I have it all. And I love being able to do that. It's so cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah, I'm almost curious, like, if you would, someone will come over and be like, I want this, and then you just pull out, like, books of, like, your photos and be like, well, we have this, and you're just, like,
exactly. I will ask
book.
I will ask my friends, what do you need? What settings do you want? Just tell me. Do you need fall leaves? Do you need like skulls? Do you need spooky trees, or do you need just fall trees? Like, just tell me what you need, and I guarantee I can find it.
I love it.
It's so great. I love being able to do that. Like, and I love looking like the look on their face where they're like, "What?" I'm like, "You have stepped into a whole realm."
Yeah.
Of where I'm literally like the anime like. The little
awesome.
anime like glasses thing, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Dark side. I have all of that.
Yes.
I love it. So we could go ahead and dive into some news. What do we got first on the docket, Gamer Aimer?
So of course we have, some sad news regarding Pokemon. Professor Oak. So we have the voice actor behind the iconic Pokemon characters such as Professor Oak, his grandson Gary, and Team Rocket's James and Meowth, is retiring from the anime after 25 years due to an advanced form of cancer. So that came out earlier this week.
Yeah.
So, that's obviously
Very
not
sad.
the best news you would think of, retirement. So we do appreciate all of the years and the many, hours
Lots of
and work
memories.
and everything that has went into that. Just like, when we heard the news of Ash and, everyone retiring and, just moving on, it's just
Sarah.
these sad things. So
It's the end of a chapter for that,
Yes.
really. Yeah.
God bless him.
So
Yeah.
hopefully he can, be able to spend time with family and go through whatever treatment and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, very sad.
We also, in other news, we have, this is a lot. We have Godzilla and Kong. So if anyone saw that, the new Empire, which is slated for a 2024 release date from Legendary and Warner Brothers. Discovery will follow King Kong and Godzilla uniting against a new threat from Hollow Earth. The film will also reportedly dive deeper into the origins of the Titans and Skull Island, furthering the mythology of the Monsterverse. So that was some pretty big news this past week. I'm excited for it. Now, I have not caught up on all of the movies, but anytime that I do watch them, I always have a great time. So this is, like a classic, this whole entire story.
I am a huge Godzilla fan, so...
Me too.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I've rewatched all 3 movies that came out multiple times. I'm a big fan of the Kong movie that came out first. I think it was probably my favorite of Skull Island.
Kong, the Kong and Skull Island?
Yeah, so that dropped before the first Godzilla movie.
I loved that movie.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was really good.
Because it was if I remember correctly, it was I'm forgetting the actors. Wasn't it Florence Pugh?
Yeah, he was in there.
Yeah, Florence Pugh and Loki, the guy who plays Loki, who I'm forgetting his name.
Oh God, what is his name?
Yeah.
I know. I was like,
it's slipping my mind for some reason. Yeah, but he was in there, and
I loved that movie. I thought it was great.
Me too. I'm definitely a bigger Godzilla fan, but I like both of them.
Have you watched the old school Godzilla?
Oh, everything.
Like Gojira?
Oh yes, yeah. All of it. I've seen all of them, even the
the classic Japanese Godzilla is peak.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I do love the American adaptation of Godzilla. It's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he charges up and he does his they got everything right with that. But I did love the old Gojira, the old school Japanese Godzilla was super, super, super good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm very partial to the the suit actors and stuff. I really like the practical effects of Godzilla prior to CGI.
I'm a huge I'm actually a massive horror fan.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to horror movies and they use practical effects, I'm like, yes, please.
Same way.
Because the thing is my favorite horror movie.
Okay.
Because
it's a great one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they use practical effects throughout all of it, and I love Alien for the same reason. It's so good. So no, that's again why I love the old school Godzilla movies, is they do the same thing, and it's just
I am 100% the same way. Okay, so talking, kind of current news, Evil Dead Rises just dropped, and so that's one of the reasons I love those classic Evil Dead movies, all 3, Army of Darkness included, because of those just straight practical effects that, You know, just like Evil Dead, the first Evil Dead, the practical effects in that movie, you know, was
Were so good.
so good,
Yes,
so good, unmatched. I mean, they're just
unmatched. Oh, absolutely. I freaking loved them.
yeah.
So no, I'm right there with you on that. Like same, like current news. Like yeah, Evil. Oof, so
So,
good.
are you going to
So
watch Rises? Are you planning?
Oh heck yeah, I am.
me too. Me too.
I'm so stoked about it.
Me too. I'm debating on if I. So Mario was my first movie back to the theater since Sonic 2 came out pre-COVID, right? That was the last movie I
Right.
saw then. So I'm debating on if I need to see that one in the theater. I'm very excited about it, and I actually absolutely adore the 2013 movie. Even with all the CGI, there was something about that movie, like it hit at a period of time.
Sonic?
No, the first Evil Dead, like the Evil Dead remake.
Evil Dead. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
There was something about that, with no practical effects. It still worked for me.
So good.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think it took a different approach. It was more serious. Obviously, Evil Dead's very slapsticky and pretty humorous and funny. And it worked for me because it was different.
Right. I could talk for hours about various like horror films.
Me too.
Like legitimately, like it's funny because people look at me and look at my photos like, oh, cute, kawaii Nintendo photos. And I'm like, I am a horror fanatic. Like, I love horror.
Same.
I have watched over like 400 different versions of like 400 different movies of like horror shit. Like, all of it.
I love it.
I love it. I love the cinematography. It's something that I'm really passionate about because I feel like it's like the last bit of good like film that's raw. Like they're actually doing what they love. It's not just to like make a quick buck.
Right.
They're actually like doing it because they love it.
Yes.
And I have a couple friends that have been in horror movies. One of my best friends is she interviews people for horror podcasts, and she's fantastic. And she's talked to. So I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. Ooh, God, I forget. It was the one that was pre-COVID or COVID, where they were locked into a house.
I'm trying to think.
I feel like I might know what you're talking about.
I don't know if
basically,
I do. I'm not caught up on some. I mean,
you would know it if I told you, but basically,
probably.
she interviewed the director and the main actress for it, and like it was awesome. Like asking how they did like the practical effects because they were obviously in lockdown, so they had to be creative about it. Like it was so cool, and like I love stuff like that. So I very much like. Outside of us doing this, we could literally have a whole hour of me talking about horror movies.
Is it called Locked In by chance, or
it's not called Locked In?
Is it You Should Have Left?
You're close. It's not that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. So like during COVID, I've been so busy through COVID. It wasn't much of a relaxed time for me. I am not caught up on movies. Like I said, the last thing I saw in theater was Sonic 2 before that. Oh. Sorry, YouTube. Playing an ad. But yeah, I've got to get caught up on stuff. I've not.
Oh no, it was one of those things where I just like went through everything and I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch all of it.
I love it. What's a couple of your top horror movies? Are you more into like the slasher? Are you more into like the paranormal?
Actually, not a huge slasher fan. I do love them because they're fun and campy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My top horror films are probably The Thing is my favorite horror film.
Mm-hmm.
I would say oh, this is tough.
On the spot. Name
I'm on
name
the
5
spot.
horror movies if you're a real horror
I know,
fan.
it's like the thing I knew instantly, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh crap, and I got a name. I don't know why I'm spacing the name of this.
It happens to me.
Yeah, I hate it.
Oh, it looks
It's
like
the one.
Oh no, you're fine. I was gonna say Carl said in the chat that Tom Hiddleston was the actor. We were trying to remember the name.
Hiddleston. Thank you.
Oh,
Bless
yeah.
you. Bless you, child. Yes. It is the Netflix movie with the bastard son of Loki.
Is it
Why is-
new? Like relatively new?
It's
like past years?
called It's fairly new. Called the.
I probably wouldn't know if it's like.
I guarantee the chat's gonna know exactly what I'm talking about.
Last 2 years, I'm pretty behind. I will say, for me, just to name off a few, that'd be my favorites. Child's Play 2, Poltergeist 3, which probably most people probably don't even know.
Poltergeist is great.
Yeah, I used to love those.
Yeah, and then I go back to the Exorcist all the time. Exorcist and the original Omen. Like I go back to those.
Oh, the original Omen.
They're like
is
comfort movies for me, believe it or not. Like those are ones I can just throw on, and like most people probably can't say, "Hey, let me just throw on Exorcist in the background."
The Ritual. That's it.
Oh, I did watch that one. Yeah, I actually did watch.
I loved that movie. So yeah. So The Thing, The Ritual.
Did you watch The Witch? Did anybody watch that one? That's a really good movie. Yeah.
That movie, the cinematography that was again going to be one of my favorites, The Witch. And also Sinister.
That's a really good one. Yeah. That's a good one.
Because it's like a new take on like the boogeyman. Like I love it.
Yeah.
No, it's so funny that you say like what was the movie you were saying you were watching? The one before?
Oh, The Exorcist or The Omen?
Exorcist. The Omen, yeah. So that's one of my favorites. Like it's one of that and like the original Saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't care for the other Saw movies. My friend told me, she's like, listen, I didn't care for the other Saw movies, but she's like, if you watch the original Saw and then watch the series, she's like, it makes more sense. And I was like, okay. Because the first Saw movie was fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I guess I'll be on binge night that I'll watch. But yeah, no, you're definitely up there with the same horror stuff that I love. Like it's so good.
Yeah, I'm really into I really like the paranormal stuff. Like I get into
Paranormal
the
Activity?
What is it?
Paranormal Activity?
I like the first one.
Same. And everything else sucks.
Yeah, they got pretty old. The whole thing behind it got pretty old. Because like when that first one came out, they tried. You guys remember they did this with like Blair Witch? They tried to put it out like it was real, like that was their advertisement. Like this really happened.
Well, and it didn't work because this is common times. We had the internet now.
Yeah.
Where it's like back when Blair Witch came out, we didn't have that accessible. So it's like they literally sent out, and this is crazy. They sent out actual like gift boxes to various people that like subbed to whatever thread. I don't know if it's 4chan, whatever the heck they were on. Sent out gift boxes to those people with the crosshatch wood creature.
Oh wow.
Thing. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it was a real thing because I saw, it was a real thing. They sent it out to them as like basically like a advertisement.
Right.
Again, this is before like we had Facebook, we had anything else. So everyone believed it was real.
Yeah.
Because when they did like the MySpace, they made MySpace profiles for the people. Which is crazy to me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very active on MySpace, but I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I don't
Oh
think I
no.
knew that either.
No, they went deep into it. Like, it was insane. And I think that's why that movie impacted so many people, is because it felt so real.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
did.
And they
It really
tried.
did. I mean,
They tried. Yeah, exactly. They tried to do the same thing with like Hereditary and everything else, but didn't stick because we have
yeah,
Google now.
that could
I
never
mean-
happen again, right? Like that, we
No.
could never have that sort of
It was
cultural impact.
genius marketing. Genius marketing. Like, I was so taken aback. I was like, oh my gosh, this is genius.
It really is.
Like,
yeah.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Could you imagine like seeing whatever, the promotional material you were talking about like show up on eBay or something? I've never heard of that before. That'd be pretty cool to.
But they did have the gift boxes. I'll have to find it and send it to you. But no, it was a real thing. I looked it up because I was like, I didn't believe it was real. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh my god, this is a real thing. This is crazy.
Dang cool. Yeah, I can remember like that going around. Everybody was talking about it, being like a real thing.
They all thought it was real.
People
it was crazy.
Like, I remember my parents talking about it.
Yeah, my parents talked about it.
Yeah, my parents too. My parents were like, don't go in the woods. And I was like,
yeah,
screw you.
I'm going in there anyway.
I'm going there anyway. Bye.
Man, there's just those times like that sort of stuff just can't happen.
It's gone.
We're like way past that.
Yeah, we will never have that innocence of like the internet again.
Yeah. Do you guys remember? Tell me if you remember this movie. This was a wild one. So this was like, the internet really ramping up, getting big, like general use. It was a movie called Fear.com. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
they had like an actual website you could go to. And
I remember.
Yeah, that was a wild one too. Like that sort of stuff can't really be done either anymore. You could go in and like see their stuff on their website, like kind of get a scoop into the movie and like all the weird stuff behind it beforehand. It's crazy.
Doesn't happen anymore, and it's so sad. I miss that innocence.
The good old days.
I know.
I agree for sure. So what else we got here in the news?
We have in the chat here it's Super Mario. Said my buddy believed Blair Witch. I didn't know anything about the movie, and he explained it so well that it was very convincing. Once I found out it was a movie, I was mad and never watched it.
Love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I feel, bro. I feel.
I know. Whenever I see something where it says like at the start of like a horror movie or like
this is based off of a real whatever, and you're like, no, it's not.
Like, is it? Then here I am, and it was like 2 parts of the whole movie are based off of something.
Yeah.
But everything else is imaginary.
It's like the movie The Fourth Kind, which I love that movie.
Yeah.
That movie, I didn't sleep for a week after that movie. It freaked me out so bad. But literally, like, the only thing that's based off of it, because, like, everyone are actors. Like, it's not real. Mm-hmm. But everything else is basically based off of real account stories of someone who's experienced alien abduction. Like, but there's like only 2 parts. Everything else is just adapted.
Yeah.
So like I remember they tried to do the same thing the Blair Witch did, where they were trying to be like, this is real. No, it's not.
There's always like inspired by real events or based on a true story.
And it's so wild, like wildly out. Like it's so ridiculous.
Like Signs, they did that for Signs, didn't they? Right? Like there was something I feel like it said.
Did they do that for Signs?
I feel like there was something. I mean, that was M. Night Shyamalan.
Signs was 2000.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, maybe.
I could be misremembering, but
Signs was 2001. I think the only thing that Signs, like, I don't think they tried to do that. I think it was more of them just like, hey, people put crop circles out in the 70s. We're gonna make a movie out of it.
Right.
Basically what they did.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys remember, did you ever watch The Village? The movie is like all about pigs or whatever at the end. Did you guys watch that one?
It was
M. Night Shyamalan movie, so it's like, you know.
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. Yep.
However you say it.
Yeah. My friend and I call him M. Night Watermelon. It's easier. I actually loved The Village. I'm just upset at the end.
Yeah.
I think most people were.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's bad. So, everything else up to that was fantastic. And then you're just like, why?
I agree. Mystically says, he brings up, which I like this series too, Critters. Those were good movies.
Critters, yes.
Leviathan? I don't know if I've seen that. Those are his favorites, Critters and Leviathan.
M. Night's favorites are Critters and Leviathan?
No, Mystically, in the chat, he's bringing up some of his favorite horror movies.
It's like M. Night's favorites are Critters and Leviathan? This makes a lot of sense, actually.
It really would, though, right?
I know, that's why I was like, I believe what you're saying. That's why I was like, wait, hold up.
I could buy that. Leviathan, I feel like I have seen that, but for some reason it's not. I think that has something to do with, like, hell, maybe. Let me see, Leviathan movie.
Yeah, probably.
Sounds familiar, but I don't know if I've seen it.
I mean, I know what a Leviathan is. I just don't know about the movie. Okay, definitely not.
With the movie Leviathan.
I don't think it. Yeah, it's not what I was thinking. It's from 2014, so definitely not. Says a Russian fisherman fights back when a corrupt mayor tries to seize possession of his ancestral home. Maybe that's the wrong movie. It doesn't sound like a horror
listen,
movie.
After this podcast, I'm gonna go watch this movie and I'll report back.
Yeah, let us know.
Because I am actually curious about this.
He says the original 3 Critters was fun. I agree.
Yeah, because I know that movie Critters, Leviathan. I don't know anything.
Yeah, I don't. It's not what I was thinking. Texas Chainsaw 2. That's a good one. I like 2 a lot.
Texas Chainsaw is good.
I love the Texas Chainsaw.
Me too. They got really. I don't know. Most people didn't like 2, but after that original, they got pretty goofy. There was
it got real silly.
Real silly.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what the other one I really liked was. I think it was called. I think it might have been just called Texas Chainsaw. Came out in like 2014, around that time. I worked at Blockbuster when they were closing down, and that movie came out, so it would have been around that period of time. And he says, I remember the covers more than the movies at this point, and that was Super Mario. And Mystically says, they're not very family friendly.
Okay.
Definitely not. So, with that said, we've got, next on the news docket, we've got a Sony handheld device codenamed Q-Lite is rumored to drop in November of this year for $200. And this came out on Wednesday. They've been talking about this for the past few weeks. So, I don't know. What do you guys think on a new Sony handheld?
Well, briefly, when I looked it up, it said that it wasn't going to be something like the PSP or something like that. It would work
with the PS5.
Literally, my first thought is this going to be the PSP 2.0, 3.0?
No, so they said something about it'll work with the PS5 or something. So I'm not sure what that could be.
Suspicious.
Yeah, what I saw was talking about a cloud type device that you would have basically like the PSVR 2. You'd have to own a PS5 to be able to use this, and that's why it's only $200.
What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. What's the point?
Yeah, that I can't answer.
$500, then another couple hundred, then you got to get the games, then you got to do this.
Yeah, this one I don't know. I definitely can't.
Right.
I don't know if I can defend that. I just don't okay, so basically I assume that it would be the exact same thing as you playing these games on your phone, connecting to your system. So if you're traveling, you can connect right now to your PS5 with the cloud service and basically stream those games to your phone. So it seems like the exact same thing, just on a dedicated device instead of your phone. is what it sounds like to me.
More or less, yeah.
So, for me, that doesn't make any sense. I don't travel enough, and if I do, like, there's not really time to play a game. So,
Yeah,
it just depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. I don't know. Might not be for me. That's all I know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So we've also got Adam Driver's in final talks to play Mr. Fantastic for the Marvel Universe. So relaunching the Fantastic Four in the MCU. What do you guys think? I mean, I could maybe. I feel like maybe I
But
can see
why?
it.
I know that John Krasinski played him as an like out of universe Mr. Fantastic.
Yes. Yeah, he did.
But John Krasinski is the perfect Mr. Fantastic, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Bring him back, please.
I thought he was as good as Mr. Fantastic, but
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I love Adam Driver, and I think he would be fantastic as Mr. Fantastic. But just seeing John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, I was like, dude, he nailed it. Like, it was like the perfect. So I wouldn't be upset if it's Adam Driver, but at the same time, I'm just like, just bring back John.
I feel like, you know, it's just because his name is out there after playing Kylo. I feel like his name is relevant and, like, you know, art.
I absolutely adore Adam Driver. Like, he's a fantastic actor. He plays really wild, crazy roles, and, like, even outside of, like, Star Wars and everything, like, he does crazy stuff, and I love it. So I wouldn't be upset if he was, but at the same time, I'm just like, I love John Krasinski so much as Mr. Fantastic that I would love to see Adam Driver in another role with John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Like something, whatever. Because like I feel like they're trying to fill these shoes, these whatever that John Krasinski's in. Just let John have it, and let Adam Driver shine in his own way with another character. But that's just me personally.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree. I just think probably they're seeing it as he's already played the role. This is, you know, it was in its own universe.
Exactly. And it's in Doctor Strange's like whatever multiverse. Yeah. So it's not really canon, which I feel.
They could make it canon with the multiverse.
But they're exactly. So Adam Driver's he would absolutely do fantastic.
Yeah. For sure.
I love that I stopped and paused and you guys laughed at my joke. Thank you. I was like, please laugh.
We've did you have anything you wanted to add to that? Okay.
No, I'm just curious to see how it all pan out. I like to make my decision based off of like when it happens and kind of go from there. I don't want to like disappoint myself type of thing or like
same.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Go in with zero expectations and you'll win every time.
Yeah, like Mario, like the movie. Everyone was like, the voice acting is going to be terrible. And then the whole movie, I'm like...
Yeah, no, I was... Same way. I was the same way.
I was literally so giddy.
My face.
Same! I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, this is so cute. I love this. I was like, this is everything I wanted. Like, I'm so happy.
So, like, I'm glad I didn't listen to all the, like, this is gonna suck, this is gonna be bad. As if I went in there with that, like, same mindset, then...
Oh, no, girl, I'm the same way. Any movie, like, I've stopped watching, like, trailers or reviews for stuff. I just go in blind. And I'm just like... Yeah, I was like, I freaking loved Mario. It was so fun. It, like, made me happy. I was just like, everything about it was so like silly and goofy and like so bright and colorful, and like I was just like,
Except for Luma.
Except for Luma, which
yeah,
Luma
Not
was
bright in color.
the best part of the movie for me.
oh yeah. What does she say? She's like, we're going down a spiral of emanating death or whatever.
It's
And then she just cuts out, and I'm just like, same girl, same. I
This is
feel.
great.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
my humor. This is hilarious.
I know. I was
loved
laughing so hard at that. Yeah, it was so perfect.
Yeah, it was so good. We've got Carl saying Mario is such an awesome movie. Loved it too. Definitely agree. And we've got Millennial Collector saying we are going to be singing the Peaches song around the house for a while. He just saw it yesterday.
Peaches,
so
peaches, 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 peaches. Heck yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
It
it.
never gets out of your head.
No, it's been ingrained in my brain. My husband, oh my god. Literally, I'll wake up and he's like, I have the Peaches song stuck in my head. I'm like, cool, good for you. And then he'll play it on this monitor. And I'll
awesome.
hear it as I'm sitting
Okay.
there, like working. And then he turns it up louder so I can hear it. I'm like, I'll kill you. It's like, please stop. Yeah, we always peaches, 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 peaches.
It's like the most
peaches.
simplistic song ever, too, right?
It's
like,
so
just repeating
good,
itself.
though!
It
Great.
is.
Yeah.
It is good.
Great. It's what we needed.
My
know,
daughter
I
like
was like-
scrolls through her YouTube shorts and it's like people that compiled the song, like putting images on, like just all the time. It's pulling up, or when she's got on the TV. I think I've heard it probably every day.
Yeah,
loves
that's
it.
exactly like Kyle will be halfway through like working, and then he'll just pull up, and I'll hear it. It's like the peaches, peach. I'm like, Kyle, you're playing the peach. He's like, don't judge me. I need to get it out of my system.
I hope he wins something for that. Like, I really hope that he wins something.
He
like,
should.
Oh, I hope so too. Like,
that would be great. I know he's been like nominated, or like he could potentially be nominated.
Top of the
or-
charts. Top of
Yeah.
like everything. Top of the charts. Top of trending for like
his
all the
suit.
socials.
Okay, listen. Can we talk about his suit he wore for the
No.
red carpet? Like,
It was perfect.
Yeah, that was so good.
oh, fantastic! Like he was like so happy to play this role, and I am here for it. Like he was so stoked to be able to play Bowser. And that made me so happy. Like he was like, I am here to do this because I'm a massive fan.
Yeah, because
And it
like
was-
he loves video games, and like
Oh, he does.
like his YouTube and stuff he created, and then I just did like a deep dive on like one of my shorts of the On This Day in Gaming, like 41 years ago, he acted in the Pitfall commercial for Atari.
Yeah.
That's
That was
crazy.
like his first commercial, and I thought I remembered that, but then like I had to like look this up again for like that.
You're
short,
like,
and I
this
was
is real. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've actually seen this. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's what I love. Is like I feel like he's just circled back and he's like, I'm doing what I've always wanted to do, and he's embodied like
yes.
what he's doing, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, definitely awesome for sure. I had so much fun. I'm glad I didn't like. I had no predisposition on the voice acting. I thought
Neither did I.
I just didn't. I didn't have any thoughts on it. I just wanted to wait and see the movie and see how it.
That's exactly how
played
it was.
out.
I was like, I just want to go watch it. Like, I don't care what anyone else says or thinks. Like,
For the critics.
yeah. And then like I went in and I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Like, this was so fun to watch.
I lost
Yeah.
all trust for critics when I saw like the ratings because they were coming
Yep.
up as news the day before I went to go see it. It's got like a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, what? Like you were
And like a 99 on 99 on viewers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want from a Mario movie? It gave everything we wanted. I can't-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's just people are dumb.
I agree. People can be very dumb. So we've also got Dead Island 2 released on Friday. IGN gave it a 7 out of 10, saying Dead Island 2 is a hilarious gore fest and competent zombie-slaying adventure, but lacks creativity outside of its great sense of humor. And then a little bit more there, basically saying it just didn't do anything different from the first game, basically. But
Yeah, sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think I'm going to wait for a price drop probably on it. With those games, like those AAA games, it drops so fast in price that it just doesn't make sense. Because it's a $70 game now. You know, we're not paying $60 anymore. So
Yeah, I'm gonna wait, but I still want to try it. I want to see how it goes because I've always had a great time whenever I play Dead Island. So
yeah,
I think it'll be good.
yeah, I think so too. Did you ever play Dead Island?
I did. I played the originals. I've obviously not played any of the other current ones, but I definitely feel like I'm gonna wait.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll drop in price in like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm sure.
Yeah, always.
So I can't pick up. There's been so much like the Final Fantasy remaster collection of all like the classics just came out.
I could talk for hours about Final Fantasy.
The same. Then Advanced Wars just came out too. The same day
And
that
Advance Wars,
Dead
yes.
Island came out. There's just like too much. There's too much. So like I just gotta wait.
Yeah.
I'm still behind on whatever releases came out like a month ago. So
I feel.
I'm behind like way longer than that.
yeah, I'm behind.
I'm just waiting for, like, I'm literally waiting for Breath of the Wild to come out so I can basically shut my curtains, lock my door, and not talk to anyone for a week.
Oh, I know. We're like what? Just a few weeks out. I mean, that's definitely all that's going to be on my docket.
Which I hate myself. I have a wedding. I have to shoot the date after it comes out.
Oh, geez.
I was like, I'm going to shoot this wedding. I'm not going to touch any of the photos. And I'm going to play this game all through Sunday into Monday. And I'm not going to talk to anyone. I am just going to shut the world out. I am done.
Yeah, that Tears of the Kingdom is going to be my first game that I'm going to definitely 100% dedicate the time and just dive into. I've not been able to do that for a game in a while. Like even Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I didn't really do that. I actually only played it when I streamed it, and that was it. Like I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it ever outside of a stream. I still haven't. So
yeah, Breath of the Wild is one of the only games that I've actually fully like locked down, not talked to anyone, literally ordered food for myself, didn't speak to anyone, didn't open my curtains, didn't text anyone for over a week. Mm-hmm. I was like, don't speak to me. I am playing Zelda. You're dead to me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Super excited.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely gonna do that again because I was like, I don't care. I'm done. I'm old.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of game you kind of have to do that to.
You're just like, shh, don't talk to me.
There. You have to like
exactly.
You have to invest time into.
And you're just like, shh, don't talk to me. Yep. I'm playing Breath of the Wild. You'll understand if you're my friend.
I can relate for sure. So we've also got trying to pull it back up here. We've got
Power Rangers.
Yeah. Do you want to get and read that? Close it out.
Power Rangers Once and Always released Wednesday and has an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, exclusive to Netflix, and people are saying great things. So I think people were saying that it's like
Power Rangers that did good.
Yeah, so it's like a reunion special with like the original. I
meant to watch
actors.
it before this, but I didn't get a chance.
Yeah, me too.
People said it was everything that they wanted it to be.
Okay, I'm gonna have to touch on that because like I'm a huge Power Rangers fan.
Yeah, I think I'll probably have to watch it in the upcoming days, but
yeah,
I would think it would be good.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's like they apparently put like a lot of money into it. Netflix exclusive. You know, all the original. I think all of the original. Maybe I think there was one. The Pink Ranger. What's her name? She did not do it for some reason. She had like personal things that she said she didn't want to put out why she wasn't able to do it. But other than that, obviously, Jason David Frank. He did not get to do it. He had passed away right before they started filming it. So other than that, I think the other people I think the other people got to do it. So I think it looks cool. Looking forward to it.
No, I'm totally down to watch it. It looks great.
Yeah, that's on my list. I also have to get caught up on a couple of The Last of Us episodes.
I feel that. I feel that in my soul.
I still haven't even started it. It's on my
You
list.
fool!
I know it's not. It's on my. It's going to end up
great.
on my
I'm just
backlog
behind.
of shows I gotta watch from the past like 3 years.
It's really good. It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
as someone who has played through the game and everything, like it's
I'm just like struggling to care a ton because I've replayed it like I replayed it when it I played it when it came out. I played the remaster on PS4 and then just recently played the remake on PS5. So like
you're like, I'm tired.
I'm telling you, I'm just like burnt out on it. You know what I mean? So is it different enough to add in like a fourth time if you're in the same story?
It is. It is different enough. Like truly, she's right.
And all kinds of stuff. I think it's worth it.
I'm going to.
It's different enough that you'll enjoy it from a completely different perspective as opposed to playing the game.
Yeah.
Like it's a different viewpoint.
Yeah.
And you see like more, like they elaborate on things.
Yes, they absolutely do. Like it's as someone who has played through the game multiple times and is in the same situation you're at, watching the show is a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm hearing great things. I need to add that in to
just add it to your bucket or your
my bucket list.
To do. Your bucket list, your to-do list, your to-do list.
Don't first.
Jesus.
It is that good. This is your bucket
Jesus.
list. Forget traveling to everywhere else in the world.
You bucket list. I was like, crap. Yeah, forget traveling. Forget your hopes and dreams.
Before I die, I want to watch this one show that I know the whole story for. But
you don't need to go to Fiji. You
Oh,
don't need
Jesus.
to do any of that. This is what you need to do.
I won't go to Fiji. I'll just drink the water.
There you go. Then you've been to Fiji. You drank the water. Close enough, right?
It's pretty much the same thing. That's hilarious. So it looks like we got one more news left for the night, and we've got Street Fighter 6. They prepared a special demo of the game that will let people play through the beginning of World Tour and select modes in Fighting Ground. The avatar that you create in this demo can be used in the full version of the game. If you're playing on the same platform, go ahead and let your imagination run wild as you create your own avatar. Game releases on June 2nd. So that demo just dropped, and I know a few people that have played it.
I didn't play it, but I watched on Game Junction. It was being streamed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Thomas.
I did watch that.
Thomas got to play. What I saw that looked cool, man.
It looked good. Yeah, it looked fun.
Yeah. No, it looks awesome. I saw it, the clips of it on Facebook, and it looks super cool.
Oh yeah, that create a character is like really interesting to be able to like. They have like a 3D, story. Like, it's not open world, but like a 3D roam around type of story, and that's like entirely new for Street Fighter. So that's pretty crazy. It looks great.
We have the chat going wild. We have Carl saying there's too many games and shows and movies and nowhere enough time. And then he said, in all caps, drop everything and watch the show Brandon. And then we have Millennial Collector Ohio. My Make-A-Wish, The Last of Us.
Jesus, guys.
So it is there.
All right. Well, then I have to watch this show.
Yeah, you're being summoned by the chat.
You're being bullied to watch it now.
I feel like I am.
In all caps.
I'm wondering if I should watch it at all now.
Yeah, in all caps, which means it's serious.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, I will definitely watch it then. So, Game Ramer, do we have anything else for the night? Anything else we want to cover, or Kai, do you have anything you want to cover?
I'm good. I've just been having a blast just chatting with you guys.
We definitely appreciate
we learned so much, and once again, everyone, we will drop all of her socials and links and everything below. You guys have to check out these awesome pictures.
Oh, yes.
Now you know exactly all the other stuff that goes into it. Like, it's not simple. There's like a lot of stuff that goes into this, but we do appreciate all of the hard work. As you can tell, Nintendo and all these other places appreciate it too. It's a whole different like deep dive when you're on like a different type of creativity and all of this type of stuff. We even have Lord W saying, "Y'all are awesome, love the show." So we do have a lot of people in this chat. We do appreciate everyone watching as well. And I guess just to go ahead and throw it back over to you, if you want to go ahead and let everyone know where they can find you, different things like that. If you just want to.
So I am Captain Dangerous on Instagram. I am Cap Dangerous 64 on Twitter, and I am Dangerous Pixels on Facebook.
Awesome.
Yes.
We'll plug everything down below. And again, we appreciate having you on. Appreciate everybody watching.
Anytime, please. Like, I love doing this. I love just being able to chat with people. Like, please invite me on anytime.
Absolutely. Sounds great.
We need to do a version of this where we just talk about horror movies.
Yes,
Let's do
watch
it.
more too. I'll watch more and I'll get caught up because I watch.
Yes.
All
Okay,
right.
so
That's a plan.
all right, so we're putting a pin in it. We're doing a horror movie version of this.
Okay.
Done.
Is that before or after The Last of Us?
Here we go.
Now, hold
Recipe
on.
right at the end.
We're literally pinning him so hard right now. Okay,
Oh,
maybe
man.
let him watch The Last of Us and then we'll circle back.
Yeah,
All
then we
right.
can talk about that too. And then they said, and horror games. And they're saying, rad show. Thank you very much. Great show, everyone. So we appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi, friends. It was so wonderful being able to talk to all of you guys.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll be back again next week, guys. And thanks, everybody, tuning in the comments. We appreciate it so much. And we'll see you again soon.